Hi, welcome to Math in Just a Few Minutes. I want to thank you for visiting my channel. This video is using models to compare decimal numbers. So we're working with decimal notation, and in 4th grade we only deal with decimal notation up to the hundredths place. So that's 2 place values after the decimal point, so that does include money. And our first place value after the decimal point is our tenths place, which would be dimes for us if you were thinking about tenths place, because it takes 10 dimes to make a whole dollar. And the second place value after the decimal point is our hundredths place, which is our pennies, because it takes 100 pennies to make a whole dollar. So we are using models today in order to complete. We have our place value chart. We have our base 10 blocks. We have number lines, and we have money. So we're using these to compare. So we're going to talk about, and I'm going to help you with, I'm going to put the first 2 on here as examples. These were worked with the kids during class time, but I want to make sure that everyone understands. So this particular task, the students were assigned a card that had different information on it. Each box has what you're supposed to compare. So this one is the distance from city center in miles. So the first thing we did was we found where it said distance from city center, which for this one is the first one, and Splashing Wild was 2.46 miles, and Screaming Good Time was 2.36 miles. So I actually told the kids, I'm going to use a different one here, to write those numbers up here so that they remember, they don't get confused, so I have them here. All right, so I'm going to go over all the 3 different ways that you do this and how exactly this is filled out. So first things first is we talk about our base 10 blocks. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. Remember, this is wholes, tenths, and hundredths, wholes, tenths, and hundredths when I'm looking at this number. So I have 2.46, and I'm going to build that with my manipulative. So I'm going to start off with my wholes, which is 2 wholes, because there's 100, like 100 pennies in a dollar, that's 2 wholes. My tenths for Splashing Wild is a 4, so I have 4 rods. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, like 4 dimes. And then my units are 6. Okay, so that is what the distance from city center for Splashing Wild looks like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shade that on here, and I'm going to shade these holes, and I'm going to label it. This is a hole, this is a hole, this is going to be my tenths, and this is going to be my hundredths. So I am going to shade it this way. Now if there was only 3 boxes, I would do my holes and then I would do my tenths and hundredths together. So I am shading 2 holes because I need it to match what I pulled out. And it's not going to be perfect. I want to quickly just get it shaded. And then I'm going to do my tenths, which is 4 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my hundredths, which are my units, I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's what that looks like. Now we're going to build Screaming Good Time, which is 2.36. So 2 in the holes, 3 in the tenths, and 6 in the hundredths. 2 holes, 3 tenths, and 6 units. So I'm going to shade that on here. 3 rods, 1, 2, 3, and 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So now when I'm looking at these, I can tell that Splashing Wild has more space shaded, and there's more space shaded in my tenths. I see that there, so I put my inequality symbol or my greater than symbol in between the 2. Now we're talking about the number line, and it's between 2 and 3. halfway in between a whole number is the 0.5. So I'm going to put the 0.5 or 0.50, it doesn't matter, in the middle. Now each one of these are worth 5. So this one is 0.05. This one is 0.1 or 0.10. 0.15, 0.2 or 0.20, 0.25, 0.3, 0.35, 0.4, 0.45, and I can continue to go. This is 0.5, so this should be 0.55, 0.65, oh, 0.6, 0.65, 0.7, 0.75, 0.8, 0.85, 0.9, 0.95, and then my whole number. So now I'm going to look, and I look at my tenths because our tenths tell us where our numbers are different, and this one's a 4 and this one's a 3. So what that tells me is that I am looking for, I will be charting both of my distance from city center on the left side. I'm not using the right side because neither number is greater than 2.5. So now I've got 2.46. Well, I've got 2.45. 2.46 should be slightly after that. I've got 2.36, so I'm going to look for 2.35. 2.36 is slightly after that. So now I have them plotted on my number line. Next, they want a comparison statement. A comparison statement. So the statement would be these two numbers, 2.46, 2.36, and remember the open part opens to the greater number, the one that takes up more space, so it would be 2.46 is greater than 2.36. Here they're writing the opposite statement, 2.36 is less than 2.46. So that's the expectation for the comparison statements. Now it's justification, and you can justify it in a couple of different ways. You can say that 2.46 takes up more space than 2.36. That's using my model. You could say 2.36 is closer to the whole number 2 than 2.46. That's also justification. So I'm going to use that. 2.36 is closer to the whole number 2, which makes it less than 2.46, period. That's justification. That explains. You could also say that the 4 in the 10th place and the 3 in the 10th place, the 4 is greater than the 3 in the 10th place. All right, so that is for the dealing with the manipulatives when it comes to the base 10 blocks. For the assignment. So let's look at the exit ticket, which needs to be done. So on the exit ticket, it says, in addition to the statistics the amusement parks gave the city, the weight of the material needed to build the main building for each amusement park has to be considered. Below, you estimated the weight of the material needed to build the main building for each amusement park. Compare these two weights and answer the questions below. So our two weights are here, Splashing Wild, and here, Screaming Good Time. Locate the numbers on the number line. So this one has whole, tenth, hundredths. This one has whole, tenths. So it goes from 0 to 100. So 50's in the middle. Half of that would be 25. Halfway in between 50 and 100 would be 75. And you have to fill in where they are on the number line. Then you're going to write the comparison statement of the two weights. Just one. Write a comparison statement. How would you read this statement? So you're going to write it in words. 9.63 is blank, then 96.3. Or 96.3 is blank, then 9.63. Which park needs more materials to build? And that's you're using your comparisons in order to answer that question. If you have any questions, make sure you hit me through Remind. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope the video is helpful.